What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Forward Ventures. It's Hong once again, and I do apologize for not updating you guys of where I've been for the past few months, or not few months, 5 months or so. It's been a mental roller coaster for me, and I'm very sorry. For those who are aware, I was in a accident, or for those who are new, actually, I was in an accident late October last year, which pretty much rendered my Jeep useless for the time being. So yeah, 5 months. It's almost 5 months. October, November, January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, so pretty much 5 months of not having a vehicle, but it is what it is, right? But it's been just a slew of hurdles to jump through. You know, the insurance company and the shop, obviously, and just waiting for parts. Anyways, there is light at the end of the tunnel right now. I am going to get the Jeep back either Monday afternoon or Tuesday. Friday morning, I got a call. I got a call from the manager of the shop stating that the Jeep is good to go. It's 80% ready, 20% pending other issues, which I'll get to. But prior to Friday, I chatted with the manager, and we agreed that I'll take the Jeep back, because that 20%, it's related to battery. The batteries is not holding its charge. So right now, because the insurance is actually paying for everything, I didn't want to pursue the shop to go and ask the insurance for to replace them, because it's kind of a double-edged sword at the moment, because it's aftermarket too, right? Like, it's two batteries, and I'm dealing with two, because I have a dual battery setup. And I know what you guys are gonna say. It's the shop's fault, and they should follow up. They should own up to their mess up, because they didn't take care of the batteries, right? So yes, I understand that, but at the same time, if I were to push them to actually go to get new batteries, it will probably raise more red flags with the insurance company, and probably the whole thing will probably get reassessed once again, because this Jeep, why should this Jeep have two batteries instead of one battery? And then probably this whole snowball effect again, and probably delay the Jeep even further. So it's already 5 months. So if I were to do this, pursue on, I'm not sure. So I agreed with the manager. You know what? I'll suck it up, and I'll deal with the batteries. So that's the 20%. So what I'm gonna do on Monday is I'm heading into the shop. I'm gonna do a visual inspection, go through go through the Jeep for on the work that's done currently, and sign off. And when that's good, they will tow the Jeep to my place, and then I'll just deal with it myself. Like, I've had enough of it already, and I'd rather deal with it myself, right? So, because a lot of the stuff underneath the hood is aftermarket, right? Dual battery setup, intakes, whatnot. So new wiring, Big 7 upgrade to the wires and all that. So it's a little iffy if I were to pursue on, because I was already surprised when the insurance company said they were going to fix everything. Obviously, right? Like, fix everything. So I thought it was a complete write-off right out the get-go, and I was done. All my aftermarket stuff was poof, gone like that. all that money wasted, boom. But they, they agreed to fix it. Okay, whatever. So I'm not complaining. Good thing a lot of my aftermarket components are not damaged, like the suspension, and the steering stabilizers and all that. Like none of that stuff is damaged. It was just mainly cosmetic on the fender side, which I'll just link a photo right here. Yes, it's fender, the grill, and the steering wheel. I thought when I first assessed it myself when I was actually at the scene, I was like, okay, it didn't look like a lot of things were damaged, so it'd probably be a quick fix. New windshield, a new the hood, the fender side and all that. Should be a quick fix, but little did I know. So yeah, so that was that. So yeah, I'm not gonna pursue further on. So yeah, and then what else? Issues with insurance. Well, first issue with the insurance, right from the get-go. So when you get in an accident, you file your claim, blah blah blah. You fill in the details, whatnot, and you would think that the insurance company will follow through. Go look at the police report, look at your statement, look at the video that you would link in the claim. But apparently not. They pretty much dropped the ball on me and left me hanging out there. It took 3.5 weeks for them to actually resolve this for me. So 3.5 weeks later, after I submit my claim and all that, I get a charge on my credit card from the rental company. Okay, this is your deductible is done, and it's out of your pocket now. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I thought this was not my fault. All right. So I make calls, get frustrated, get mad, because you know how it is. You get on, put on hold, then they transfer you to another person, one person to another. You get on hold, then you go on hold, and you go on hold. It just goes around in circles, right? You know that feeling, guys. So this is pretty much the last day before I had to make the payment. And it's roughly around 6 p.m. in the evening, right? And I get one person to actually help me. Her name was Brittany. She was amazing. She understood what was going on, because apparently my adjuster was out the gun. All right. At first she sounded pretty reasonable at first when I talked to her at the beginning. She's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. We'll get everything sorted." But you know what? She didn't tell me she was going on maternity leave. She didn't tell me who her backup was, and she pretty much ghosted me. All right, and I couldn't get her on the phone. I couldn't get her. I didn't know who her backup was. Right, so I was out in La La Land. Right, and I was just chasing what's that term? Chasing the tail, dog's tail in circles, whatever. Okay, anyways, you get my point. So on that last day, I get this other adjuster, Brittany, who helped me. She looked at my claim. She looked at the police report. She got the police report somehow. She looked at my statement. She looked at my video, and she's like, "This is definitely not your fault. We will take care of it." So I was already hesitant when she said, "We will take care of it." But she's just like, "Okay, I will deal with this in the morning," because obviously it's 6 in the evening and she can't contact the other insurance company, right? So, all right, so I'm like, okay, fingers crossed, and we hung up. So the next day, she's like, "Okay, we got it done. Everything is cleared, right? So you will not have any further charges going from today and on." And that was cool. The other insurance company is going to cover everything, and that was it. So kudos to her. I know, but my adjusters, my original adjusters and backup, garbage. So that was the first hurdle that I had to go through. And then to the shop itself. Probably my biggest regret was not going with my gut. I should have went directly to one of the local Jeep shop and not to their preferred shop. Which is like, oh, we won't guarantee the warranty done on it, or if you have to pay out of your pocket to get it towed there. I should, you know what? I should have just went straight with my gut feeling and not with whatever they preferred. So that was my fault on my behalf. And yeah, so back to the shop. The most frustrating part was just dealing with common sense with the people there. From what I've seen from this image right here, the body work and all that looks great, but I'm not sure the internals. So first of all, first issue was parts itself. That's uncontrollable. I understand. A lot of the stuff these days are back ordered and not available. And for my Jeep, I was, like I said, I was surprised that everything was going to get fixed. But pretty much everything under the hood was sort of aftermarket, so it's iffy, right? So I thought it was just a few things, but obviously it is not. So a lot of things were back ordered. The longest part that took 3 months for the power steering reservoir. So that little plastic reservoir took 3 months to arrive. Steering wheel pump, 2 months to arrive. A couple of harnesses, with a lot of the frame, at the front where the grill actually sits on, took a while to come. There was several other things, but yeah, you get the point. Like, parts were not available, and I couldn't force the shop to go, hey, can you just go to the junkyard or get aftermarket parts to replace these, right? Like, they got to go by the book because they're getting paid by the insurance, right? So, like I said, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of parts out there from the wreckers that they can just go to, but they got to go by the book, follow the procedures, so they get paid, right? So total damage was roughly $17,000 worth, all right? So yeah, parts, obviously I call in every week to get an update to see what's going on, if things are in, blah blah blah. No, not available. Coming soon. It's stated to come this week, next week, whatever. Okay, I get the point. Whatever. Okay, we get to mid March. So okay, let's say the second week of March. I'm already talking with the managers already, the shop, and he's like, "Oh, your Jeep should be ready soon. We're almost to the final line. Maybe March 18th, you'll get your Jeep back." And then all of a sudden, I get a message. Oh, your Jeep is not shifting. This is the first time we've taken it out, to test it. I'm like, what do you mean it's not shifting? All right, so it's not shifting. So obviously, in my mind, I'm like, okay, the computer probably reset itself, and you probably have to reprogram it to fit the settings. So, like, obviously my Jeep is lifted, so bigger wheels, it's re-geared, and you guys don't know the settings for that. So, I was trying to be a good Samaritan. I was like, I know the settings, I know what the ratios are for the my transfer case, my gears and all that. I know what it is. Just let me come in. I can just stick my programmer in and then reprogram it, and we can call it done, right? No. He refused that. He says, "Oh, my technicians are good enough, and they can figure out what the problem is." And he's trying to give me, he's giving me excuses that, oh, it's the wiring issue. I'm like, I don't think that's a wiring issue when it's not shifting, right? Anyway, so a few days pass. He's like, oh, we can't get, we got it done. We got it done because he had to go to Downsview Jeeps and Chrysler to get that manager and one of their techs to bring their computer to the shop to work on it. So I never really got a definite answer from them, but they said they got it resolved. So I definitely have to check the setup when they get it back. So that was one of the issues, dealing with it. Second issue is just the wiring itself. Like, I have dual batteries in the system, so the tech guys had no clue what was going on. They couldn't. I mean, you just follow the wiring. You should be able to put the Jeep back together, right? So they're like, oh, the manager's like, oh, my guys are confused with all this wiring. They never dealt with this kind of wiring, and it's going to take a lot longer. I mean, well, if you took it apart originally, wouldn't you have kind of made note to it? That was my reply. Like, you make note of what goes where, all right? And he's like, yeah, it's too much work for them, and and then yeah, it's going to take some time, right? So that was one of the excuses. And then I'll try to follow up. All right, okay, whatever. It's been what, 4 months, what or not. What's another week or whatever. All right. And then so like I mentioned earlier, it's stated for March 18th. I'm like, the Friday, the prior Friday to the 18th, he comes to me and says, oh, my technician got into an accident and he can't work on finishing up the Jeep. So I'm like, really? You got to be kidding me. What a coincidence, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever. And accident, yeah, well, hopefully he recovers or whatever. Okay. And then so he brings in another technician, and they look at the Jeep and like, how am I supposed to put this together? There's so much wires. It's all aftermarket, right? I'm like, oh God, what did I get myself into, right? I'm like, obviously I can't blame them for, but at the same time, it's like, just the negative goes to the negative, the positive goes to the positive, just, put it together, right? Right. And then I already mentioned to the manager, if it's aftermarket wiring or like accessory related, just bundle it up and put it aside. That's it. I'll deal with it, right? So all I requested was just have the Jeep start up, the Jeep run. Anything that was aftermarket related, accessory wise, put it aside, and then I'll deal with it. Don't need your technicians to touch it, because who knows? They could fuck it up. Pardon my English. It could mess it up even more, right? Which leads me to why my batteries are damaged. Probably from taking the wires off, probably causing sparks, whatnot. So I'm a little iffy. I'm a little worried right now, right? So that's one issue. So a lot of it's just common sense. Like, if you take it apart, you should make note, what goes where goes, So that was that. And then I think one of the other issues is the lack of people working. So they didn't have enough automotive technicians to do the work for me. Let me just read off. I think it was trying to do the harness, one of the lighting harness. He's like, the excuse was it takes a lot of work. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we're almost done with the harness, wiring harness. We just don't have enough people working on it. It's not an easy job. All right. Well, and then let's see. We continue our job. Headlights and grill will go on at the end. But the wiring harness for the light, it just goes along the frame at the top, right? And it just connects into the other harness. I don't know what's hard about that. It's pretty much like a 10-minute job, right? And what's it? The headlights and grill. We all know the Jeep headlights. It's screwed on by 3 screws, 3 small screws onto the round frame, into the bucket, whatever. It's just only 3 screws. So times 2, that shouldn't take more than 5 minutes, right? You just plug it in, stock, plug it in. It's not like it's aftermarket lights, right? I don't know. The grill. How long should a grill take to put on? It's, you have a bunch of metal clips. I think there was 8 in total on the inside, and then 6 button tabs, or the Christmas tree tabs. That should only take like 10 minutes. But he's like, oh, it's a lot of work, right? So I'm just scrolling and seeing what other excuses. Yeah, just a lot of it's just like they don't have time. The technicians are, I guess, they never dealt with aftermarket Jeep, and which I don't blame, obviously, because they had to do everything by the book, right? So they have their manual for the Jeep, and it's like, okay, this goes here, this goes here, right? So that's it. So it's been a long, frustrating few months, right? First 3 months, I get it, parts are not available. The last 2 months, just I've been pulling my hair out. I'm like, this problem, but there is light coming. There is light at the end of the road soon. So hopefully, when I get it back on Monday or Tuesday, that it's just a battery issue, and that's it. Hopefully, there's nothing else wrong with the dual battery setup. I hope there's nothing wrong with that. I hope there's nothing wrong with the alternator or engine, or even with the computer. So yeah. But anyways, my camera's overheating for some reason. It shouldn't overheat. So if it blacks out in 4 seconds, I apologize. I'll come back soon. Alright guys, I'm back. Sorry for that. Just had to wait for the camera to cool down. So yeah, pretty much that's pretty much it for the updates for the past 5 months of what I've been dealing with. So hopefully Monday everything is good to go. I'm just fingers crossed that there's no other issues with the Jeep. Yeah, so just gotta go in, sign off, look at, make sure there's, the work is good enough, and then have them tow it, and we should be good to go for the next set of problems to deal with. So, but anyways, thank you all for all the support, for hanging in there, and yeah, stay tuned. I should have a bunch of other videos coming soon. Got a lot of stuff on order that is sort of trickling in. I got new headlights for sure. All know about the stock headlights. They are not that good, right? So, but those new lights are also back ordered until mid June. So I got to deal with that, and just a bunch of other cosmetic accessories that were destroyed during the accident, just like bug deflector and little knickknacks and all that. So have all that stuff coming in, but yeah, a lot of stuff coming in, and hopefully get back on the road with the Jeep, and hopefully there aren't any other surprises that are gonna spring up on me, because I've pretty much had enough of it for the past month. So again, thank you all, and I will see you on the next video. All right, take care. Bye.